this is Kazrisk, and right now you're listening to episode 2 of NukaCast, an all Fallout podcast found on youtube.com/Kazrisk, soundcloud.com/Kazrisk, on iTunes and everywhere that you can find a podcast or find Kazrisk, you will find NukaCast. And once again, I am joined with my co-host, Zak Risk.
Hey guys.
Hey, and today we're pumped. We have an episode under our belt where we discussed everything we know about Fallout 4, which comes out, if you're listening to this, which will be Monday, November 9th, it comes out tonight at midnight your local time. If you're not midnight your local time, midnight at Eastern Standard Time in North America, and then midnight at your respective regional time in any other country, unless you're in Japan or Australia. They get it actually quite a bit later in Japan. But yeah, Fallout 4 is basically almost here. And if you're getting retail, it comes out tomorrow. Or if you got the Pit-Boy edition, it'll be arriving. Bethesda promised that it'll be arriving on time on November 10th. But we've made it. We arrived, and so we're recording this episode of NukaCast this weekend, and so we're still a little bit farther away as far as it's a weird sort of time thing, paradox and all of that. But we are super, just painfully excited. I was thinking, and Zach, you can answer this too, but I don't know if I've been this excited for a game ever. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I know that's a really bold statement. I'm trying to think back, because the only other examples I can think of is when I was super little. Super Mario Sunshine had me freaking. I remember like kicking the couch and stuff because I was just so angry that it wasn't here yet. And we arrived, like we were the first ones at our local Target to get it. And we told them like, hey, like it's supposed to be out today at Setting Game and Magazine or whatever, Nintendo Power, that it was supposed to be out. And they were like, oh, yep, here it is. And they opened up, like we were the first ones to get it. And then since then, the only thing I can think of is maybe Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, that was...
I was pretty pumped for that. But even that, like I went and got it. And I remember like even going back and like opening the game and like being excited to put it in. But like there was no part of me, like I waited for that day and went and bought it and stuff. There's no part of me that was like considering buying the game twice so I could get it digitally the night before. The only game I did that with was Super Smash Brothers.
Right.
Or Super Smash, I was like looking for the midnight release, looking for a way to get it any possible, like demo, everything, and I was just so excited. Like
Smash, Smash definitely I think rivals this hype. When I remember the 3DS when we were waiting for that, and just the frustration when the servers of Nintendo, of how bad they are on those eShop and stuff, and it was just like, everybody's getting to download it, and it was horrible. They should have had preload back then.
Yeah.
It was like right before preload started. Man, it was...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they did have preload for... Maybe they just don't do preload on like a handheld device, but yeah, the Wii U, I remember I did have preload for Smash, and it just unlocked right away, and I was...
Yeah, preload's so amazing, and that's... speaking of just preloading, preload is available... by the time you're listening to this, it should be available for all platforms. So go ahead, if you got the game digitally, it should be available. It was just made available on Xbox and Steam this past weekend, and I believe it's on PS4 by now, if you're listening to this. But yeah, you were saying that Smash probably rivals it. I mean, it's a painful wait where I want to play games, and I've been playing lots of Fallout 3, and we're going to talk about that with the podcast, our experiences with Fallout 3, to kind of look back on that. But I've been playing lots of Fallout 3 to kind of pass the time. And even that, though, it's just like, I wish, though, I was playing Fallout 4. And what's hard is that it's coming out right after a weekend. I have so much free time this weekend.
Yeah.
And then my week's actually starting to look pretty busy. And it's just like, like it's going to be, I'm finally going to get it. But it's going to be in the midst of my busy, like just college week. And I have a job lining up and stuff. And it's just like, no, like, and so a painful wait. But for those of you that maybe are suffering from the wait, there is some stuff online that can maybe ease that if you haven't watched it or listened to it or read it already. Bethesda has been posting several little articles and tidbits and things on their website and their blog, or you can probably find it on their Twitter. They've posted a behind-the-scenes look at how they designed the sound for the game, between the instrumental tracks and then the licensed tracks, and even some original music with, I believe her name was Linda Carter, and she's the actress that plays Wonder Woman, and she did an original song called Good Neighbor, which is for a town inside the game called Good Neighbor, and it was really really clever how she was singing about caps and super mutants and stuff and all of that. Like it was like kind of weird to hear a pretty professionally designed song and have references though to the inside Fallout universe. And so that was a cool featurette. They had a launch trailer which showed off quite a bit of content, I believe. If you don't want to know anything, don't watch that trailer, because I was kind of figuring that it would be basically a repackaged version of everything we've seen so far and not much new. And the trailer was, for the most part, almost entirely new, even down like to showing off a lot of the female voice actress, which was kind of cool to hear her lines and stuff. Um, and it was weird. Like for the longest time, the campaign has been like the marketing campaign has been "Let's go, pal," with the dog, but she says "Let's go, boy." And so there's like a whole new hashtag surrounding that and stuff. But they have some other things like the making of the game. Other people on Reddit have been posting lots of things to kind of ease the weight. But the big thing is to watch out for spoilers, especially if you're listening to this on Monday. There's going to be even more review embargoes that are being lifted, and other content probably being posted for that final day. And if you just want to know nothing and just enjoy the game, probably just best to go ahead and wait till tonight and experience the game for yourself. You've made it this far. You might as well just wait.
Yeah, I'm just
But
gonna wait.
yeah. And so without further ado, though, that's kind of like honestly our news segment of the week. There's not too much as far as news goes besides the fact that the game's coming out tonight, or tomorrow retail and all of that information. So what we're going to do with the remaining 20 minutes, we're going to try to keep this podcast to about a half hour, is we're going to look back for probably the next 10 minutes or so on our experiences with Fallout 3. Zach and I both have been going back with Fallout 3. Zach, actually, I don't believe you made it too far when you first played the game, whenever you did end up playing it, but now you've really gotten in pretty deep into it in the past few weeks and stuff in preparation for Fallout 4. I originally played the game on the PC back probably honestly around like 2009 or so when it came out. And because I know by the time I beat it, New Vegas was pretty hot and DLC was still coming out for that. So I played it in that kind of 2 year window.
Oh, it was on PC that you originally played it on?
Yeah, I did originally play it on PC because I never modded it or anything.
Yeah.
But that was actually the reason I got my original gaming PC, was because I wanted to be able to play Fallout 3.
Huh.
And Davey, who's a friend of mine, he had it, and I bought his copy, and he actually sold it to me for like $20. But then there's like a Game of the Year edition at that time for like $20 or so. So I had to rebuy all the DLC for even more money. It was because he sold me the non-Game of the Year edition one for.
Yeah.
And so I felt kind of peeved by that. But no, then I got New Vegas right after I beat the core game of Fallout 3. Also got New Vegas on PC, and then bought the DLCs as they came out and did each one as they came out. And so that's kind of just a time frame of when I hopped on it. But I've been going back for the trophies. I am 2 trophies away from the platinum.
Yeah.
Before we started recording, I just got the get to level 20 with this karma, that karma, and the other karma.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such a pain in the butt to go back and re-level up, but also go like donate water and money to the Church of Adam and stuff. And it sucks. Like around level 14, I was able to donate to the Church of Adam to get my karma up. So I was able to get that guy like to neutral and good, to get him to level 14 and stuff with those trophies. But by level 20, I went to donate to the Church of Adam. And between level 14 and level 20, in my save files, I destroyed Megaton, like killed everyone.
Yeah.
And so I had to be like, crap, I had to find another church to donate to. And fortunately, there's a church in Rivet City I was able to donate money to and get karma up. So I have all those. The last 2 trophies I need to get are I need to go back and find a previous save file before I did Raven Rock. I need to go through Raven Rock, and somewhere in there is a bobblehead. And I need to grab that bobblehead, and I need to go find the remaining, I have 18 after that to go find. But there's wikis online of where those bobbleheads are, and I should be pretty good to just go. It'll be kind of nice. That'll be my final thing, basically, with Fallout 3, is going and finding all those bobbleheads. And it'll kind of be nice because it'll probably be a nice little scavenger hunt to go find them, even with the wikis.
Yeah.
I'll still have to go through certain vaults and certain places. I'm going to read the dialogues and stuff to go get those. And so that'll be kind of my parting thing with that. But I'm so excited to have that platinum trophy. I don't have too many platinums, and so it'll be fun to have that.
I only have that one Walking Dead one. You have that crazy Far Cry 4.
Yeah, Far Cry 4 took a long time, and that was a blast. That one wasn't like too tedious at time. Like it was just like that one was pretty relaxing. Fallout 3 has been kind of tedious with these whole karma ones, and I'm hoping I haven't looked at the trophy list for Fallout 4 yet, but and I won't until I'm pretty far into the game, and then it's like, okay, I want the platinum for this game, so what else am I missing? Okay, I'm missing this, this, and that, you know.
Yeah.
But that'll be well after I've kind of felt satisfied with the game.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm hoping they don't have that whole you need to be level 20 with good karma, neutral karma, and bad karma, because it's like I don't want to have to replay the game like that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to do it mainly on one playthrough. I
Yeah.
understand if I accidentally kill someone or have to do a different kind of branch of a quest. Like I guess I understand that, but I'd rather do one playthrough.
Well, it kind of makes sense though, like just in a way that, I mean, just because when you get to a level, it wants to give you a trophy, for getting to level 20 with any karma. So it's like kind of nice to do that in a way, I think.
Yeah,
But and I always think like, when I'm playing the first playthrough and stuff, usually like even when you played it on PC originally, I don't think that you were thinking like about going for the platinum, and maybe that's more just like where you are now, but it seems like usually when you kind of first play the game, you're playing it more for the experience of
yeah,
just that playthrough, and then it's a really awesome like replayability factor to be able to go back and do all
yeah,
the trophy
definitely.
hunting. So that's kind of a plus that like even if like maybe it's a good thing that they added that you do karma in
That's
each one because
true.
then it's just more trophies, more replayability,
Yeah,
So
I don't
yeah,
maybe I don't know if I guess yeah, because it's nice that it's like if I would have played this game, like if I had to go back on the PC version, I probably would have like won the karmas and stuff, so I could replay the game as a bad guy maybe if I had the good karma trophies, you know, and
yeah,
with the whole good karma, neutral karma, and bad karma, replaying the game through 3 times,
uh-huh,
that seems almost a little excessive and kind of tedious at that point. But
yeah,
but no, I definitely do get it. And I don't know, when I play Fallout 4, I'm probably gonna really invest a lot in speech, lock picking, and intelligence because I want to be able to. I'm assuming there's probably going to be another hack 50 terminals, do 50 speech successes,
yeah,
or something along those lines, or use charisma 20 times or something. And it's plus at first I didn't really play through Fallout 3 with a lot of lock picking. I just didn't really feel the need to get into those things.
oh yeah,
But when I started kind of hunting that trophy with the like I put 100 lock picking in and stuff and was able to unlock almost everything for the sake of that trophy. It was actually opened up a lot of doors that I hadn't even really thought about going through that led to some really cool storage rooms and other things. I'm like, all right, in Fallout 4, I'm going to make sure I invest in lock picking. And so,
yeah. I
uh,
unlocked I think every single door in Fallout 3. It's funny because I was just playing, I've been playing a lot of Fallout 3 lately, and really, probably I was thinking almost like 75, 80% of my experience has been just looking at metal boxes and in storage rooms, just looking at the floor, looking at the environment of like just going through all of the junk in the world. And
and
I was
that,
seriously wondering like, a lot of people play the game by just running through all the environments, but I just like almost make like a OCD
hmm
like way of just going along every shelf, seeing is there like a stim pack here? Is there anything that a psycho or just anything that I might want to grab and add to my inventory? And
yeah, and that's going to be even more in Fallout 4 with the fact that, like, right
yeah,
now I mean, they do have weapon crafting in Fallout 3. I
uh-huh.
keep getting it mixed up with Far Cry and stuff because we mentioned Far Cry.
Yeah.
But with Fallout 3, there's that crafting system in there, which is kind of cool. I never really felt the need for some of those weapons.
Yeah.
Um, I was pretty content with my plasma rifle, but uh, it's gonna be insane in Fallout 4 where if you do search a room like that, like with your OCD,
Uh-huh.
you'll find like a coffee mug and you'll be like, oh, this is ceramic. I can use this to make a ceramic door for my house, which I can
Yeah.
then use to make my shop. I mean, it's just gonna be insane. So
So
what
much
is it?
more of that Minecraft factor,
Yeah,
of
like
like
what is
gathering resources for your own
isn't it
shelter.
isn't it strength that allows you to carry more stuff? I'm gonna have to make sure I make my strength like 10 with my special things.
Yeah.
Like carry so much, I'm gonna be over encumbered half of Fallout 4 at least. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
when we did that website that allows you to build your character, I made sure that I looked at that I think, yeah, strength, and made sure my character at least had a few, so it was like 240 I'll start off with, 250, something like that
Yeah.
for my weight. And that's just such an important factor for me because like that one time I walked seriously like across the entire map over encumbered with all this stuff and
I
just
never
finally
do
made
that.
yeah.
I always drop stuff. Or do some sort of like repairing and connecting weapons together to make
Yeah.
it so they all fit and stuff.
It's
But
very rare, very, very rare that I do that, but I have done it a couple of times. I did it once in
or
Skyrim and
yeah, I drink a bunch of beer or something to somehow make myself even stronger.
yeah.
Just have a quick shot of whiskey and just put on my backpack and sprint towards Megaton. But
You're addicted to everything, basically.
my guy is like really addicted, and I saw there's a perk. I know there's one in Fallout 3, but I saw it specifically on the Fallout 4 perk chart called Party Boy, like where you no longer get addicted to alcohol or something,
Oh yeah.
and you just get the perks from it, and like the perks get amplified as you upgrade it and stuff. And that's gonna be like one of the very first things I go to because I'm constantly just like taking scotch and vodka like all at once just to make myself stronger. My poor guy is like the most intelligent, charismatic, ruthless person in the wasteland, and he's just a raging alcoholic. Um, but yeah, we've been talking about Fallout 3. Were there any sort of specific memories that you wanted to share with that, like as like kind of those standout moments that maybe you're kind of hoping carry out over to Fallout 4, or maybe are replicated or something like kind of like that scale, or just even something you want to share before we head over into Fallout 4? Because what starting next week, that's going to be our discussion, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess just like my favorite memory about just Fallout 3 is just I guess how, and I hope it carries over in 4, and I'm sure it will. Where just you're exploring the world, and like I was thinking about how it just compared to Skyrim the experience because I played so much of Skyrim, and like just I was thinking almost recently, do I almost like this game better than Skyrim, and my experience better than Skyrim?
Mm.
What makes it better? And just this experience of when you're exploring, I'm always like there's so much more danger it feels like in the Fallout universe, like compared to I don't know what it was. Just I felt like I got a lot stronger in Skyrim quicker, or in the Elder Scrolls games, I felt a lot more powerful quicker. And
Yeah.
in Fallout, it seems like I'm constantly looking around, paranoid, like what's coming. I'm always like more stealthy and like crouched down,
Yeah, me
like
too.
ready,
I'm
like
always crouching, like, and I go in the third person view. My guy's just like,
you never know what's around the corner, and I love that like suspense. And I think that it's not like a single memory, but it's just like the overall experience has been so much of that, and just this feeling of like tenseness, and like just that you get from like a good like show that you're watching. Like it feels
mhm.
like all like the great shows that we like to watch and all the great writing, it puts you in that character, and the feeling like you're actually in your own sort of drama or TV show, or in your own this whole universe. It's actually like more like actual real life, and it's just crazy. And I'm definitely thinking it's just going to be so amped up in 4, and it's been really cool too that it's like this has been my first real playthrough through 3, so it's like it just gets to carry over and just gets to go to the next level suddenly and be insane because it's also going to be after arguably like my most played game, which actually is my most played game, Skyrim. It's like going to be taking those systems up, and just so it's oh
Mhm.
my god, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like, and I'm just on total blackout on
Yeah,
all
I
I
don't.
have is my own like speculation and what we've kind of speculated about what's coming. So
Yeah, I've I was gonna say it kind of has. You were mentioning that just impending doom feeling the entire time.
yeah.
I've always wondered, like we're pretty big fans of The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
We've been going back and forth on that and stuff. Like with the latest seasons and all that, there's just so much debate and stuff with the quality of the show. But there's no denying that it's a very successful show and can be a very entertaining show. And one of the things that always made me wonder, though, while watching it, was like, why is everyone running if the walkers are so slow?
Uh-huh.
And it kind of makes sense after playing a game like Fallout, where it's just like you're always just like, I need to get to the next spot and find safety and find a spot where I can get my next supplies ready to go, and get my weapons fixed up and stuff, because it's not even necessarily like that that's a danger, this is a danger, or whatever sort of thing's a danger. It's just that every person is dangerous and everything is just against you.
Yeah, there's like
And
yeah. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, between like The Walking Dead and The Last of Us or something like that, there's just always that kind of fight for survival, and that is definitely a very cool thing. And once again, I feel like it's just gonna be something that's gonna be amplified in Fallout 4 between just the the kind of system they seem to be putting in place with the shelters once again, and just the diverse world. Like I'm sure there's gonna be lots of more diversity as far as enemy design goes. There just has to be. There's going to be more than mole rats. There's going to be probably more than scorpions and rad roaches and stuff. They're bound to make more. Like
Yeah.
they're going to have homages to those. Like the crowd went wild at E3 when they showed off the mole rats because it's just like that's an iconic enemy now for Fallout.
Hmm.
But there's likely to be very more, or even just like those Deathclaw fights. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. My big memory, and this I don't think I shared this with you because I think I was kind of, or maybe I did. I think in one of our Facebook chats and stuff, but I didn't share it like in full detail because I was kind of nervous about maybe spoiling your experience. But my favorite thing in Fallout 3 was I kind of played. I forgot how I played my first run through, but my second run through on the PS3 now, I played much more this role of, okay, I was in the vault. I was bullied by Butch. I was surrounded by people who picked on me and the tunnel snakes. And the one girl, Amada, or that's how you say her name, I think, or Amita or whatever. She was never like, she was always nice to me, but she never dated me. And my dad left me, and my mom was dead. And so I was like very just like I played the character of having this very just pent up aggression. And
Yeah.
then the vault doors open and I just went wild where it's just like, all right, this is my world now. And I played it in such a way where I was very practical, where it's like, I don't need to keep you alive, but I do need some caps. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to kill you and I'm going to take that nice coat you have and like it's mine now and I'm going to sell it. Like even the guy outside Megaton that was like, do you have some water? I blew his brains out, took his jacket off and went and sold it for 2 caps because I just needed every single cap I could get. And there was no reason to give him water. That gave me nothing but karma, and karma was just did nothing for me. And so by like very far into the game, I was very evil. And I remember I went into Tenpenny Tower because they loved me because they're like, "You're evil." Like, "Yeah, what's up, Slick?" Like, "Yeah, you hate the ghouls too." And I went up to the front tower and I blew out Tenpenny's brains and pushed him off the balcony. And then I went down to the front desk wearing his coat covered in blood. And they were like, "Oh, like nice jacket and stuff." And I went and stood on the front counter, pointed my gun at the front desk's head, and just blew his brains out. And it was so funny because everyone in the tower turns and they're like, "Ah!" And I'm just going down the hallway, just like opening like bedroom by bedroom door, just shotgun against these people. And they're all like, Tenpenny Tower is such a wonderful place to live. And what was cool was by the very end of it, I
What was
killed
cool?
I killed everyone. There's just limbs and body parts everywhere in this Tenpenny Tower, and then it's like all of a sudden, just in the left corner, and like this quest thing pops up where it's like report to Roy Phillips, and it was about like you're supposed to apparently go get this mission from a ghoul that wanted you to kill everyone in Tenpenny Tower because he wanted to live there.
Wow.
And I never met with him, but because I killed everyone in Tenpenny Tower, he actually had a whole expedition plan to come clear out the tower with me, but I just did it by myself because I was just evil. And
That's
so
crazy.
I went to him and I talked to him and he's like, "We're gonna take back Tenpenny Tower. Like this is gonna be our home." And I'm like, "Hey, I already cleared out Tenpenny. You're free to move in." And so they all went there, and he gave me this ghoul mask where feral ghouls and ghouls no longer bothered me if I wore it. And so for the rest of the game, I wore this ghoul mask with the Tenpenny suit, and I thought that was just
Oh.
such. I looked so, in my mind, iconic as just this blend between two complete psychos, where I had a ghoul mask, so I looked like a monster, but I had the Tenpenny suit, which was a guy who hated ghouls, and
Yeah.
then I had Butch's like
That's really cool.
switchblade and stuff, and I just kind of had like this took on a persona of everyone that I had taken over,
Yeah.
and like it just kind of had that sort of just I don't know super villain vibe, which I
Yeah, I
don't know
hadn't
why.
heard that.
Yeah, and so I looked and like I think I even had the sheriff duster from like his hat, the sheriff's hat from Megaton. I
Oh
had
yeah.
his hat on and it went over the ghoul mask, and then I had the Burke guy, Mr. Burke's sunglasses on, and then I often just had like various and then I had Colonel Autumn's pistol, and so my complete identity was Tenpenny
Huh.
suit, Megaton hat, Ghoul mask, Burke's sunglasses, and then the Colonel Autumn pistol. And so I just basically looked like the major villains of the game, and then like the one sheriff's guy. Like I had all of their personas wrapped into one. It's like kind of every place I went to, I had their identity, and it was just really cool. Like I just went around with that for the majority of the game, and I still often wear it and stuff. And I'm kind of just hoping that I love that in Fallout 4 there's like no power armor. Like the power armor isn't the end all be all armor
Yeah.
like it was in Fallout 3 where it's like once you get the power armor there's really nothing better as far as damage goes.
Mhm.
Um or defense goes. But I love how in Fallout 4 they've seen like even like the initial E3 trailer they had like the guy wearing all the different costumes and stuff. It seems like they really just, like had fun with that and the whole layered armor system. I'm excited for kind of just that side of it and the cosmetic side. Which um, was there any other Fallout 3 member you wanted to share? Or?
Um, I don't know. Not. I mean, kind of just. I mean, mine is kind of lame. Just like my first experience with Deathclaws was kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I'd never really experienced them too much. I mean, I'd seen them in videos before, but just kind of wandering like old Oni and stuff when there's a whole bunch of Deathclaws just kind of walking around, and I was using my stealth boy, and there's one that's kind of patrolling, and uh, I like kind of hopped between this crack. Like there was this crack that I could like barely push between, like kind of glitch my way through in a way, push my way through the wall. And so like, and there's like this tall wall, this tall big like built up rigged fence, and like I get out and like tried to start a fight with this death claw, and like it wasn't working out, so I went and turned and quickly ran and hopped, like crouched and hopped back through that little crack, and I'm like pushing myself through, and like am figuring like I can get to safety here. He's because a lot of times in the game I've had that where like enemies come and attack me, and I've been able to in like Elder Scrolls games and these Bethesda games you can sometimes get behind like a fence or
Hmm.
behind an object, and the enemy will just like not understand how to get around it, and you can just kind of keep firing at them until they go down. And like so I was figuring this was gonna happen, but then the Deathclaw just like leaps up in the air and like lands on top of that tall like rigged up fence, and just like screams down at me, and I was like, oh my, like, oh crap, and then just was dead. And like moments like that, and just, and I remember getting like at that area, it wasn't maybe the death claw there, but there was, it was like two death claws were on me, and I was into like one health, and I was like crippled and like so immersed in the game, and like hopping, like limping and like almost crawling to this place, and like checked my pit boy, and like I see that there's vaults like 92 or something nearby, and I like crawled there, and I'm like getting down, and I'm like I don't know what's in here, and I remember getting in and seeing like two of those first aid kits and being like feeling
Oh,
so much relief, and like
yeah,
just
that's a
being
big feeling.
like and being like, oh yes, and this like grabbing it and grabbing like some food and like going I'm like eating, and just like it was just, it's such an awesome atmosphere and experience, like things like that. And like another experience, like I remember when that Mr. Burke like asked me to blow up Megaton, and
Hmm.
I'd said no to him, and then I had started going on the main quest and gotten all mixed up in that, and just had happened to stop back in Megaton just as a like a as a side thing, just to sell some stuff, and happened to talk to the sheriff, and I'm like, hey, yeah, that Mr. Burke guy like told me to blow up the town, and he's like, well, let's go deal with that right now. So we walk over and do that whole thing, and Mr. Burke ends up like shooting him in the back, and so I like so quickly like pulled out my gun like in a Rick Grimes moment, and like blasted his head off, and then like took his outfit and took the sheriff's outfit, and
I love how
they
you
were,
just everyone in the bar probably looks over and you're just over there ripping off their clothes
yeah, and they
like
all just went like back to their business. Like God was like happy that I killed the
yeah.
sheriff, and like, but but yeah, and then like I went back days later, and then like their bodies are still like there on the ground and stuff. But yeah, this is so much. I just love the atmosphere and all those little things that kind of connect the story, and just things that aren't part of the story, and just the whole thing. It's just all amazing. I just love Bethesda and these open world games that they give us.
Yeah,
Basic
it's
almost every memory from the game I think is memorable, and in Precious, really. Like, just the whole starting off of the game is iconic, and that's really why I think like Fallout 4 is going to be amazing. With it seems like they've really done another sort of iconic beginning to the game. Like, you think about how can they step up from being
Yeah,
born
Vault
as a
101
like
was
and being
perfect.
born and a baby and then growing up and then suddenly it's like time passing. It's like how can they do that again? It seems like they've really done an iconic beginning again with this pre-war thing and having your family, and I'm really hoping that there's I mean, I'm not expecting too much with that, but I'm just hoping there's a little bit to experience there, as like at least as long as the Fallout 3 intro was, which wasn't terribly long, but was enough to be iconic and be super memorable as
Yeah.
something that sticks out in the whole experience. So, but yeah,
I mean,
hard to
everyone remembers Vault 101, like
yeah,
that plays Fallout 3, like, and they have like very a strong connection with that. So I think there's going to be a pretty big connection with your pre-war family, and I think that's just such a unique experience to be someone that lived before the war. Like that's just going to be so interesting to explore, and it's just going to be weird to have dialogue options that are going to have to reflect like the majority of your life being before the war. You know,
yeah,
like your character in Fallout 3 always talks about like maybe I mean they kind of have that same similar approach where they grew up in the vault, which was very much so before the war kind of atmosphere because it was so kind of isolated to that 1950s style still very peaceful very you have the greasers you have the diner you have all of that but I mean your Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 guy is going to know what Boston looked like. He's going to go to every location in that area and be like, I've been here before, but now it's a wasteland, you know?
yeah,
Which makes me think that like or hope like you said that I hope there's more beyond just your house in the what is it Sanctuary Hills and stuff but yeah that's gonna be exciting. I was kind of gonna maybe talk about what we're gonna plan on doing in Fallout 4 like in those initial moments but I mean honestly it's just gonna be like we're just gonna go straight into it where it's character creation and
yeah.
then just
I'm gonna do the
eh,
first quest, and then and then I'm gonna find that dog.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to find the dog. I think it's probably gonna be pretty easy to find it. I think it's gonna be kind of like a if not even part of the main quest.
Yeah.
Like it may. I think it's gonna be probably pretty forceful to get you there.
Well, if
To
he's
meet
just
the
hanging out in front of the garage or whatever, it's like if you ever find the garage, there's a dog
yeah
hanging out up front.
yeah. And it's just I guess you just ignore the dog or I guess there was like that one dialogue option where it's like get away mutt like
Yeah.
go away. That's always an option in
Yeah, or you
Fallout
could just
4.
shoot the dog in the, or I guess you, I don't know, if maybe that's like, that's one of the controversies about this game is like you can't possibly kill the
Yeah.
dog. But
Yeah, I did a quest the other day where there was like a dog companion in Fallout 3, and the dogs kept just going unconscious, and it was so sad because they kept just getting beaten, knocked down. And I don't know, I did have a companion though, Sharon, I think it was, or Karen or whatever, a ghoul in the underworld. I had him follow me along, and it was another one of those Deathclaw situations where I was running, and I was like, run, 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 and we're just sprinting and stuff. And as I'm running, a little notification pops up where it's like Sharon's been killed, and I'm like, what? And I turn around and see just his lifeless body getting tossed around by Deathclaws. And I'm like, no, poor guy was probably standing back, like trying to defend me. And I was telling him to run. And I don't know. Then I went and got Fox back, and I actually went and there's a trophy for killing all of the super mutant behemoths in Fallout 3.
yeah.
And so I went hunting for all of those, and there was one that I just let Fox completely take, like, and I just hid in the corner, and like the super mutant took like a fire hydrant, like sledgehammer thing, and just knocked Fox out. And it's like Fox has been knocked unconscious, and Fox is just laying there, and I'm like, crap, get back up, and then he got back up, and so it was interesting that like I think what happens is they have to get knocked unconscious, and then they're completely out for a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit and then if they get hit even more, then they really do die. But I think they
Oh
make it kind of hard for them to die. Like they have to get like you kind of have to be in a pretty sticky situation, which I like.
yeah.
That they can be pretty defensive and stuff.
I
But
was I was thinking about the whole Boston thing about we were talking just a few minutes ago about how this character's already experienced Boston and he's already experienced all these things. Like I wonder if possibly it starts off they could explain away that by I wonder if you've like just recently moved into that house, or you've
Yeah.
never really made it, or maybe you're like in a town that's kind of a bit a ways from Boston. You've never really had to go into town much, or you just kind of new in the neighborhood and haven't made it there yet. But
Yeah, I wouldn't
maybe
be.
because I mean, I didn't really think about that too much, but it would be kind of weird if he's
Well,
like, yo, I've been here and yeah, I
I
know this
think
place and this place.
they. I think I don't know. There may be a way now that I think about it, and it may have been a leak from a while, not like recently,
Yeah,
but those initial leaks from Kotaku like a year or two ago, where it had the script of the main player and stuff.
yeah,
There was I think it had in that the introduction speech and stuff of the game, which may explain that more, but I won't say that in this podcast for your sake, 'cause I don't think you maybe completely remember it.
yeah,
And I don't want with the game, with how close the game is, you'll know soon enough. But
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of it and stuff. And I mean, yeah, kind of that whole Pokemon thing where you're the new kid in town.
yeah,
But no, it's I mean that's just yeah. Going back to that real quick though, I mean that's just another interesting thing though, where you have a wife and kid. It's just gonna be harder, I think, to be an evil person in this game. But um, I mean that's just gonna be there's gonna be that sense of loss. That's gonna be really big. And it's gonna be an interesting avenue to explore where you never. I guess you did lose the security of Vault 101, but you're gonna feel like you lost your family, when you come out of the vault. And I feel like there's gonna be some sort of trauma with that, and it's just gonna be so. I'm so excited for those unanswered questions, and I'm also so excited. We talked a little bit about the spoilers and the leaks online, and Pete Hines actually had a response to that on Twitter. Pete Hines is the marketing manager and PR guy for Fallout and Bethesda and stuff, and he said that every one of you that have experienced spoilers and stuff, especially for like the end game, which has been going around apparently. Fortunately, we haven't seen that. But he said that doesn't change the fact that you're going to experience your story though. Like you're going to experience a
yeah,
different, not necessarily a different ending, but you're going to arrive to that ending. It's about the journey, not the destination with Fallout and with the Elder Scrolls games. And it's going to be interesting that like if the spoilers are going around and stuff, there's gonna be so much to that game though that nothing could spoil
yeah,
like exactly what's gonna happen. I mean, in the midst of, even us, you and I sharing our Fallout memories, and just in this podcast of looking back on Fallout 3, uh, I don't think we brought up once the whole main storyline really, as far as the water purifier goes,
yeah,
And so
yeah,
someone, I mean, that's definitely a very interesting story, and it would be a shame to have that spoiled for you. But I could go up to someone that's never played Fallout 3 right now and be like, the main story is about you finding your dad, and he's trying to purify the water of the wasteland, and they'd be like, darn it, like now I know the story. And I could even go as far to say, like, I mean, some pretty hardcore spoilers of the main quest line, and then they go and they could leave Vault 101 and honestly probably never find their dad
yeah,
and do everything in the wasteland and do the Tenpenny Tower thing and do Paradise Falls. Paradise Falls is so interesting. And Lamplight Caverns and the conflict between that and the replicated man of Rivet City. That's a huge quest line which I loved, and that's like probably my favorite quest line of the game. And once again, never meet your dad. Like,
yeah,
and it's just that and that's gonna be the same thing with Fallout 4 is everything we've seen in the story trailer, everything we've heard as far as like what they show at the E3 thing, is probably going to be completely avoidable, and the game is still going to be hundreds and hundreds of hours long. But um, we could honestly go on and talk about our hype for that and what we're anticipating with Fallout 4. But by tonight, it'll be irrelevant as far as speculation goes. So there's not too much we can say about that. And I honestly don't want to do too much speculation because I feel like I'm going to be right on a lot of things if I start speculating too much.
yeah,
Because I've been thinking about this game for like over a year now and doing so much digging. I feel like I can make some pretty good guesses, but I'm still excited regardless. And I don't want to. And it's just if someone happens to listen to this tomorrow, I think a lot of this podcast will still be relevant because it's just looking back on Fallout 3. And it's crazy that, yeah, like you had the same experience, but from going from Oblivion to Skyrim, where there's really just no need to go. Not no need, but no, the desire to go back to Oblivion was greatly diminished because Skyrim was a lot of the same, just polished and stuff. Like
yeah,
there was that still desire for Imperial City and stuff, and um, just that world and the Oblivion Gates and all of that. But at the
hmm,
same time, like it was Skyrim, and I feel
yeah,
like as much as the Capital Wasteland and New Vegas and all that are appealing, and I'll probably go back to them for those last few trophies. and New Vegas especially. I want to get the platinum in that as well. But those games are going to be pretty much clocked out, you know?
Yeah.
And so this podcast kind of has a somber feel where it's like, so long, Fallout 3. I mean,
Yeah.
for the past 7 years, you've been the wasteland we've been exploring, and now
Yeah.
it's time to go to the Boston wasteland, which is just so crazy. And so,
Mhm.
any closing thoughts, though? I mean, between saying goodbye to Fallout 3 and hello to Fallout 4?
I'll definitely miss Fallout 3. I missed Oblivion because there's just a charm to it, and the nostalgia will always be there. And but definitely, like when Skyrim came, there's just so much to do that I'm ready. I'm ready for it, and I'm
Yeah.
so excited. And we're so close. I'm getting it digitally, and I'm gonna have it tonight.
Yeah, I'm still debating at the time of recording this if I want it digitally as well, and
Yeah.
maybe even sell my disc
Luckily, it's my
physical.
birthday this week,
Yeah,
so it's like I'm getting a whole bunch of gifts
yeah.
and
Your birthday is what,
so
Thursday or Friday?
I it is I think
Friday.
it's yeah it's Friday or something like that.
Oh,
Saturday, but so
oh yeah, yeah,
but I'm getting some early birthday presents, and like since Fallout 4 is coming, it's like those are Fallout 4 presents is kind of the theme, I guess, of this week, since it's Fallout week, and otherwise I would not be getting it.
yeah. What a
But
good time to have a birthday.
yeah.
Um, but I feel so bad for people that like are maybe perhaps a little bit younger and they have to wait for their parents to give them gifts, and it's like you can wait till Christmas for your copy of Fallout 4. It's just
Yeah. Oh my
uh,
god, that would suck.
yeah,
I had to
or
do that with Skyrim though, because that's what happened. Is I got the Xbox for the Black Friday, and then it was like wrapped, and I knew I was getting it, and I actually went with Kayla because she got me the Xbox and Skyrim for Christmas, and it was like, man, I wanted to play Skyrim so bad, and it was
hmm,
like, it was like late. No, I had to wait almost a month to play Skyrim, and when I
wow.
finally got to it, it was like it was so good, and I just remember just staring at like the river and grass, and just being like, "Oh God, it's so beautiful."
Yeah,
Just like,
I
like
got
looking
that
at it.
on 11/11/11. It
Yeah,
was one of the very first games that I got um, in a while on release day.
yeah,
That was kind of in that era where I think everyone kind of goes through where it's like games are for kids, and then you kind of come back around after a few years off, you know.
uh huh,
And that was the game that kind of brought me back between Fallout and then Skyrim, and it was kind of like, dang,
yeah,
this is like I remember being in line, like grabbing it, and just I was one of those. There's several other people in line where it's like, oh, I hear that game's amazing, you know, like because it was so fresh and new,
uh huh,
and then just going to class the next day and being like, dude, I was walking to River Run and these wolves attacked while I was talking to someone. Like I was
yeah.
talking to someone and the wolves attacked, and they're like, that can happen, and I'm like, yeah, and it's just like that's just gonna be so crazy, like in Fallout 4, that's gonna be like there's like the cinematic shots and stuff. I feel like it's just gonna be
Or
like,
how Todd talked about how in this game it's more like when you look at somebody, like the text bubbles appear like, and it's
yeah.
more of like looking around, you can have actually like two conversations going at once, and it's like,
Yeah, oh,
what?
and yeah, just like the different third person shots and stuff to make it seem like a movie, but also you're more immersed, and there's just those opportunities for, like he said, that like any time in a conversation, you can just pull out your gun and be like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
And it's just like I just wonder like how that's going to change certain things if you do pull out your gun like while someone says something, and it's just, I mean, it's going to be so fun. Next week, to kind of wrap up this podcast, next week we'll be sharing those initial experiences with Fallout 4, and don't worry, next week we'll share those kind of more vague experiences like that. Like we'll talk about, whoa, this kind of thing can happen. We won't share exactly spoilers or story spoilers or anything like that, but we will kind of be discussing our initial impressions of the game, and then along with the Fallout news, because this has been NukaCast, our all Fallout dedicated podcast. We talk about all things Fallout, whether it be looking back on Fallout 3. Maybe one day we'll return to more discussion on Fallout 3 and New Vegas as we bring those games back in our lives. We'll also be discussing the original Fallout games sometime in the future, perhaps as kind of a bonus episode or something along those lines. And then obviously we'll be talking about Fallout 4, the mods, the DLC, the story campaign as we both come to an end with it. and all things that will have a spoiler cast well into the future. But we're not going to rush that, so don't be expecting that anytime soon, because this place is supposed to just be happy, spoiler-free, genuine Fallout discussion. And so if you want to be listening to more Fallout or NukaCast, you can be sure to click the subscribe button down below if you're watching on youtube.com/Kazrisk, or if you're on SoundCloud, you can click the follow button, or if you're on iTunes, you can subscribe to the podcast as well, the Kazrisk Gamescast. It's found all over the place there. If you can't find it, just tweet at me at Kazrisk, and I'll help you out. Or you can tweet at Zak at Zakrisk. And yeah, we're gonna have episodes every single Monday. We may be having a special guest sometime here in the future. I hope that works out, so stay tuned for that. And I also want to be planning some giveaways sometime soon, whether that be the pop vinyl figures of Fallout, maybe the Pit Boy Bob or Vault Boy bobbleheads or something like that. And we may have a giveaway maybe for like our 10th episode or something. Maybe by the time we get there, we'll have that giveaway. And so we stay tuned for that, because that'll be exciting. And if you're a subscriber, you may have a better chance at getting that. And so you want to subscribe now. But this has been NukaCast, and if you want more Zak and Kaz discussion, also head over to Kopai Podcast, where we discuss all things Nintendo. That is our other podcast, and we'll probably be starting some other PlayStation or Xbox or gaming podcasts or random podcasts sometime in the near future. But for now, all we have are these two. But we got to the 45-minute mark, and so we got to go ahead and cut out because we wanted to be a half hour. We went over because it's such awesome stories of Fallout 3.
Yeah.
I hope you guys don't mind that you got more Fallout discussion. At least we kept it under an hour this time.
And we've made it.
Yeah, we've made it. So turn off the podcast, go lay in your bed, close your eyes, and take a good 12-hour nap, and wake up ready to pull an all-nighter with Fallout 4. It's out. You've made it. War never changes. And in case we don't see you, because we probably won't, because we'll be playing Fallout 4, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye. Man, yeah, but let's go ahead and end the call, and then we'll just go straight into Kopai so we can move on with our night, because I want to get back to Fallout.
Yeah, sounds good.